SFMF. Welcome, everybody. Wednesday Night Live. It has been a full week, right? We skipped Sunday. Sometimes things happen and life gets in the way every now and then. But we are back. It's live Wednesday night, SFMF. No matter where you are, hope you're joining us, and we will give everybody a few seconds to join us. It is Sunday night. It is Wednesday Night Live. Good evening, everyone, and let us know right off the bat what you're drinking. It is definitely a coffee day for me once again. Already had about 2 or 3 cups, but right now, at this time, it's time for more coffee. All right. So, monitors on. Production team is producing, and we are, boom, right there, I got it. All right. Once again, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Wednesday night, SFMF Live. All right. That's the first thing we're going to talk about shortly, and it's these analytics for YouTube. And hopefully somebody can help me out. And we're talking about my most recent short and what it did, or I guess what it didn't do. Right? Pretty interesting. It says we're successfully connected. If I can get a sound check and a video check, I see myself, so I'm guessing it's up. But a lot of weird things have been happening recently with YouTube, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's YouTube. I guess we'll find out here tonight. All right. Malcolm, how you doing? Doc is here. Good evening, SFMF-ers. Sound is good. Thanks, Doc. Michael's Drones, RCs and Knives. Awesome. Good evening to you, brother, and the production team. Yes. Doc is good. You said it right the first time. Doc, video is good. Mike Smith, Copa Smith, 4421, 4442. Reporting for motivation. Era. Good to see you, Smith. Manakam. I was wondering what happened to the latest short. All right, so me too. David Bryant, sound is good. Thanks, brother. Greetings from Scotland, Semtex. Good evening and greetings. Thanks for joining us. Israel, O'Keefe, Bakar, good to see you. Semper Fi, Kimi Cocoa Puffs, all good. All good to go, Sergeant Major, thank you. So what happened to the short? What happened to the most recent short? Guns, Adam East, good to see you. Giovanni, greetings from Sicily. Sicily Island, South Italy. All right, good to see you, brother. Giovanni Castellana. Hammerhead the basis. Had to put that latest short in timeout. And I did. That's what I ended up doing. Put that back. I did. I timed it out for just a couple hours to see if it would improve. Hammerhead, don't know where your grandma is. So what happened to it? Most of the shorts, those of you that do watch the shorts, they're usually over 1,000, sometimes 2 or 3. Le Cookie, good to see you, brother. Semtex, it's the second time watching your live stream, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, good, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a damn good show. Few things to talk about, but the shortest one in any kind of algorithm knowledge you have out there, let us know. Again, those of you that watch the shorts, they do decent. But the one yesterday, and somebody remind me what it was on. I don't even remember what it was on now. The core values, Marine Corps core values. Pretty decent topic, I think, if you ask me, right? We all like to talk about the core values that have been around for almost 30 years. They weren't always. So some of you old timers can chime in on that. Late 90s, General Carl E. Mundy. He's the one who introduced them. And if you look it up, they says he carved them out, something that we live by, and we do. And they even give out, someone answered the short and said they don't give that card anymore. He was an SOI. So I want to believe, though, that they give them out in the fleet if they do still give them out. And it is a little credit card size card that had your honor, courage, and commitment on it, and it explained them on the backside. Something we do live, learn, love, and know and pride ourselves in, and it helps us how we think, act, and fight. Was what the short was on. But for some reason, that short did horrible. And again, I got to believe it's YouTube because it just stood out. It just didn't do bad. A bad short is like less than 1,000 views. But this one like is in the double digits. I don't even know what happened. So I did. I timed it out for a little while and put it back on. If you saw it, let me know. And do you think it's something wrong with the analytics, YouTube, or just it was a terrible short? I can take that. I have thick skin. Let me know. And we will talk about that short, the core values. Sergeant Major Trevino, if anyone knows that story, another relief for cause type of situation. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Helo Dunker was another short we did, was pretty good. A lot of you have been through the Helo Dunker, the egress system. Now they have Humvees and MRAPs and Buffaloes and all the other vehicles because they're all configured a little bit different, and it's pretty tricky. And the Biggest Fear short we did, that one turned out pretty good as well. All right, so let's see who's here. Guns, you got your card in 2013. Carrie Marie Potts, good to see you. Sandkit, Adam East, again, too many times in the dunker. John McJunkin is here. Mike Smith never had a bad short for me. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Semtex question. What are your thoughts on the advancements in drone warfare being displayed in Ukraine? First of all, drone advancement is skyrocketing. Right there, ask Michael's Drones, RCs, and Knives. That has taken off. Okay, first and foremost, what's everybody drinking tonight? Let us hear what you're drinking. Some of you better be drinking water, hydration. I'm drinking coffee, and you know what I always have on standby, a little H2O. Gotta hydrate. What are you drinking tonight? Let's hear it. Menachem, water. Doc, water. What was your MOS, says Karma's Long Plays? I was at 89.99. First sergeant, sergeant major. Prior to that, 1371 combat engineer. Back then, you used to be called 8511 drill instructor. Pineapple juice, Semtex. Nice. Seltzer, Eddie Machete. All right. Matthew Askren, good to see you, brother. Water, says Carrie Ann Potts. Chris Collins, Blue Moon. I love a good Blue Moon. Cold with the orange. You got an orange on there, Chris? Orange slice. Hydrant. It's electrolyte replacement, Jared, called Hydrant. Never heard of it. Electrolyte replacement powder. How's it taste? Nothing, almost rack time. Mike Smith, you going to rack, hitting the rack soon. Water all day, every day. Papa Smurf. Humvee, MRAP, not in my day. Iced tea, David Bryant. Coffee, there you go. Somebody drinking coffee with me. Cheers, Michael's Drones. Getting ready to ride home, get back with you in an hour, brother. Ducati life. Be careful on that Ducati. Lay cookie. Speed limit. Go to the speed limit. Wear your helmet. You better have gloves on. All right, Ducati. Nice. Congrats on the recent nuptials, Matthew. That's right, brother. You did it. You tied the knot. It's the best tasting powder mix, in my opinion, Jared. Because you know I'm not a huge fan of water, and Gatorade has changed over the years. They took the electrolytes out, suckers. So if it's a good electrolyte replacement, I'd like to try that. Dayton Robson, what guns you got? I got this one left one and this one right one. Those are the guns I got. Thanks much. Coming up for air. Matthew, God bless you, brother, and good luck. I didn't mean it like that, like good luck, but congratulations. Aqua, use hydrant while we're hunting. Nice, good. I'm going to try that, Jared, hydrant. Again, I'm not a big fan of water, but I know I need to hydrate. Hydrant. I'm going to try different flavors, hopefully. Down in the Bayou, 9-1, September 1st. I got great pictures with all the jar heads. Awesome. Matthew, sweet. Were you in dress blues? Semtex, watch any House or Senate congressional hearings with any general getting questions, it gets brought up. Welcome to the gun show. Second award marriage. I need the luck. All right. Go for it, brother. You got this. Keep it real, Sergeant Major. Good luck was correct. No dress blues. I can still fit them though. All right. Good on you. I tell you, that's kind of a mix there. And you see it when you go to Marine Corps balls, birthday celebrations, or some ceremony where the uniform is still appropriate to wear after you get out or you retire. And the guys that wear a suit or their dress blues, you wonder maybe the dress blues, the blue dress uniform, maybe it shrank in the closet over the years. All right. You put on a couple pounds. You still get it tailored. David Bryant says, try water with lemon. I do like that. That does help me get over my little, I don't like the taste of water. I just got to suck it up. Chris Castillo, 35-year-old grunt, still PT every day, get some devil dogs. All right. Right behind you, Chris, and I still PT every day. Eddie Machete, I can't fit in my blues. Good weight, though. All right. A little different than my boot camp weight and my dress blue weight. Have an interesting idea, Sergeant Major. Can you break out the old dress blues and break down your ribbons and awards and maybe even try on the jacket? My jacket fits, Menachem. It does fit. Over the years, I've had to get it taken out and taken in, but mostly taken out. But it still fits. And that's interesting. I would like to go over just maybe the ribbon chart, ribbons and medals. Maybe not just mine, but we all could share. And we can talk about what it takes to earn a NAM or a COM. Right? What does a Bronze Star mean? What does the V mean on those awards? Combat Action Ribbon, era. Enemy, so keep my ears open for those hearings for sure. I had both wool and poly blues. David Bryant. Yes, I did too. Started out with the poly and wool. Remember, you had to keep 2 sets of blues, 2 sets of alphas. That was a pain in the butt until they came out with the poly wool blend era. If you don't like the taste of water, add some LMNT to it. All right, element. I missed it, McJunkin. It passed too fast. Matthew, do you feel that awards have been watered down over the years? All right, good question. Matthew, do I feel awards have been watered down over the years? Great question. I'll tell you, as a first sergeant and a sergeant major on the awards boards and trying to write your Marines up for awards, I did have very, very strong feelings about it, especially in combat awards. And I remember it took me about 2 years to write a Bronze Star with V, with our very own Big O. Hopefully he can join us tonight. And the awards processing board, you write up the award, you send it in, and it goes back and forth a few times with some higher headquarters that are judging the award off of how you wrote it, which is a part I didn't agree with. So as a sergeant major and my battalion commander, I looked at it as him and I, those two, the senior enlisted advisor and the commander. If they put a Marine in for award, it shouldn't be downgraded because of how it was written, or there wasn't enough fluff in there. It needs to sound better. So that part of the award system I did have a problem with. But do I think they've been watered down? I think on a lower level because of so many awards, because we've been in combat for 20 plus years. So NAMs with Vs, COMs with Vs, Bronze Stars with V's, Navy Crosses, all the way up. I think there's been a whole lot of awards. So now that the war is over, are the I don't want to say smaller awards, but the less senior awards, are they going to be watered down? Navy Achievement Medal and Navy Commendation Medal. I hope not. And I know a roundabout way, I'm not even answering your question because I don't think they've been watered down. I think it depends on the unit. And, you know, the haters out there, and you're especially in an infantry unit, and one of the O1s, the admin guys, gets a NAM, a Navy Achievement Medal, and everybody's like, what'd that pogue do? He did nothing. Well, he did, or she, and they kept your record straight. They leave and pay and earnings, and so they did. It's just a different job that they were doing. So I don't like to see that when people say he or she didn't earn that. Well, if, again, the senior enlisted advisor and the commander put him or her up for it, they rate that award. So I don't think so. Again, a roundabout way to answer your question. I don't think they've been watered down. Combat Action Ribbon. Now that's been controversy for 20 plus years. The first time it was awarded, you had to be shot at and you had to return fire, period. But now with today's technology and the drones and mortarmen, I'm glad they added mortarmen to that, and artillery, and pilots, right, dropping bombs. So I think the combat action has changed over the years. All right, Eddie Machete, former 0351, URAH. Do you think the Marine Corps should have gotten rid of the assault man MOS? No, I do not, Eddie Machete. I don't at all. You 100% of the time are always going to need boots on the ground. So I don't think they should have done anything to the infantry makeup to include assault men, because even though the drones and the aircraft are going to wipe out a city, you still got to put boots on the ground where you might need assault men to still blast some doors open, shoot some rockets downrange with some squirters here and there. So no, I don't. Absolutely. Didn't agree with that one at all. And I don't know why they didn't call me and ask me. I would have liked to have been on that board. All right. JHW, RAH, P-38 Mustang, Michael. What is a P-38? See if anybody knows. I'm glad to hear they made it better. What did they make better? The World War II plane? Aircraft, air wing? Until, and those you non-air wingers, until you spent time in the air wing. Again, I used to, as being with many infantry battalions, we had a love-hate relationship with the air wing. We loved them when they were picking us up, taking us out of a hot LZ. They were taking wounded to the nearest drop zone for safety and refueling and resupplying. But we'd get mad at them when they'd fly over us and we're hiking. They get a free ride. They're out of the elements. But after working with them, seeing what the pilots go through to plan a mission, what the maintenance guys do to prepare the plane for that mission or the helicopter, pretty amazing what they do. And they don't have regular hours. So they definitely work their tails off. Pretty awesome. It's a can opener. Yep, I see it up there. P-38, the John Wayne. Chicken has arisen. Hoorah. Good to see you, Chicken. What's happening? You still keep it on your keychain? I haven't seen mine in a long time. I had a couple. It was before my time with the MREs. I didn't get it. I'm not a CRAT guy. But I dig it. P-38, everyone needs one. Matthew says, first time I got Hellfire shot and supported me, had to hop a little. You can't replicate that. Amen. Michael Jones says, a fear jarhead carry on with the keychain. Carry his on a keychain also comes in handy. You never know when you might need it. Ortiz, what's up, Marines? JRTC Cadet Browers asks, Sergeant Major, sir, what did life trade? I missed it, brother. I'll read faster next time, I promise. I'll read it. Put it back up there from the cadet. Jared has a P-38 from 1968. Wow, you're old, Jared. Doc Holliday. The Marines I've seen around the world have the cleanest bodies, filthiest minds, and the highest morale, and the lowest morals of any group of animals I've ever seen. Thank God for the United States Marine Corps. Semper Fi, Doc. Love that quote. And who said that? Remind us who originally said that. It was the president's wife. Or was it a president? Was it a general? Who said that? Adam East, Gun says, everyone needs to double tap the screen. Yes, double tap it. Double tap it. Again, about the short today. I did a short earlier today, and that baby crashed and burned. I don't know what it was. Starting to get a little self-conscious about it. Luckily, I have thick skin, and I don't think it was me. If it was, somebody please tell me. Nancy Reagan, Chris, that's who it was. Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt? I don't know. Who knows? Somebody GTS it. Google that stuff. Find out who said that. Nancy Reagan sounds familiar. I don't remember. Thanks again, Doc. Eleanor Roosevelt. Is that who it was? I think it was. Now I think it was. I remembered it being somebody's wife. Chris, I'm not sure, but it sounds great. I agree with it. That is pretty awesome. So the short today, nobody knows what could have happened with the short. They're messing with me. They're messing with their channel. Don't make me unleash our production team on some YouTube people. I'm not going to like it. Don't make them angry. David Bryan, amen, brother. I don't care how far technology advances, you're always going to need boots on the ground. Roosevelt. There's no way, and even the best. Okay, here's John McJunkin. Cadet Browers asks, what life trait did your mom and dad pass down to you that helped you in your military career? Great question, Cadet Browers. So in boot camp, I was the honor grad, and I remember being interviewed at boot camp, and something that my mother has still to this day always says, and it has got me through a lot of very maybe dark times, bad times, good times, but she would always say, and she had thousands of quotes all over the house. I remember she would put them up, she'd find them, she'd read them, she'd write it on something and post it up. But hers was always, the main one was, find the humor. Excuse me, find the humor. Pretty simple. But if you think about it, there are plenty of times where things are so crazy, they're funny. Things are so bad that you got to find the humor somewhere in it, around it, on top of it. Find the humor. And that was a quote that I gave right after boot camp. When I graduated again, I was interviewed by my local newspaper. I think it must have been when I got back. But that was it. That was not a leadership trait you won't find anywhere, but find the humor. There's some humor there somewhere that'll keep you from going crazy. And very recently, I'm finding that to be very true. It's so crazy, you just got to laugh. It's either laugh or cry. All right. Chicken says, you saved this Marine from a terrible chow hall. I shih tzu not. Thankfully, Kadena had a fantastic one. Kadena did have an awesome restaurant, Air Force. They don't call it mess hall. It's a restaurant. Honor, courage, and commitment, values, core values. Producer, what are you telling everybody? That's what the short was today. Malcolm says, I forgot my buddy was just selected for MARSOC. Can I get a congrats for him? Nice job. MARSOC, not easy. What was his MOS, Malcolm? And if you know briefly what the process was, because a lot of kids want to be MARSOC, right? You know, the high schoolers, they want to be a Navy SEAL, an Army Ranger, a MARSOC Marine, sniper. They want to just go right after it. Can they? YouTube's not blocking, okay. Just like and comment on today's short. All right, thank you, Matthew. Again, something happened with that one. I'm not sure. I'm not going to dwell on it, but And that's what, when I posted, I wondered, did I do something different? Did I do something wrong? Because normally they take off pretty quick. Depends on the time of the day, but this one just did not. And I don't know what happened. Excuse me. Adon Ramirez, what state are you in, Sergeant Major? I'm in a very happy state right now. Right, it's a good state of mind, pretty motivated state. I believe he's at weather maintenance equipment. I've always wanted to be a grunt, and that's actually what I became. There you go. Chris Castillo, infantry. You made it. Congratulations. Selected by the Raiders. Not sure how it works. I'm not either. Not sure how it works. All right, Hamilton Hill, a.k.a. Hammer, CEO of King Life Fitness. All right, Hammer. Says, thanks for your service, Leatherneck. My uncle is a 1-9 Walking Dead. And my dad is 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines, 2-6. Marines at 1st Battalion, 2nd Marine Division. 1-2-6 was, I don't remember their nickname offhand. Yat Yaz. Who knows what Yat Yaz means? Adam Ramirez. Marines or Air Force tents or motels? Well, Air Force stays in motels, first of all. I missed it, Chicken. It went by too fast. JTB, good to see you, brother. Semper Fi, my friend Jared said, I've been unsubscribed for a few gun tube channels, so it is real. I guess it definitely does happen. Tris, I can't read your name, Tris Quinn. 11 bang bang. Air Force has dorms. Yes, they do. They don't have barracks. They have dorms, and they're very nice. I think they're all one-man dorms. I don't know, do any of them share a room? I stayed when I went to the Air Force NCO Academy. Everyone, all 138 students had their own room. It was a big 2-man room, but only one per room. Excuse me. 2-6 is the Ready Battalion. Always ready or just Ready Battalion? Sounds familiar. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, 711. DD214 out of 7th SFG. Thank you for your service, brother. Thank you. DD214 Club. Semper Fi, my friend. Okay, Carrie Marie, send it again. Carrie Marie, did I miss it? I missed it twice. One more time. Former Anglico era. Carrie Marie, I'm looking for it. Good day, mate. From ex-Aussie Warrant Officer Class 2 E8 era. Semper Fi, brother. And good day. Already hear that, Faye? Tell him, Menachem. Can't we all just get along? Gunsmoke, the professionals, all right? Thank you for that, Sergeant Cece. Where's Sergeant Cece? I didn't see her on there. Carrie Ann Potts, what's your favorite ribbon you received? Very good. Okay, great question. My favorite ribbon, which is actually a ribbon and not a medal, is the Combat Action Ribbon. Proud of them all, and I'd like to believe I earned them all. But definitely the Combat Action Ribbon. And I have 3. And the first one was from Desert Storm. We very few. Desert Storm was pretty interesting. Of the 200,000 Marines there, was not a whole lot of kinetic fighting going on because we bombed the crap out of them. And then a lot of them gave up. But I did get pushed forward with an infantry battalion, a tank battalion, and it got pretty kinetic for a little while, not long at all. And then in Iraq was a lot of firefights. And my third one was from Somalia. So that's the one I'm most proud of. Kind of bittersweet because you have to be in combat action to receive that. And not everybody gets those. So thank you, Carrie Ann. Appreciate that. I'm here. USMC Cece is here. Abra. National Defense with 1 star. Good on you, guns. Gunnery Sergeant, United States Marine Corps retired. Got a couple. Poolee Rentoni asks, I keep my grades up, exercise always, and run, but I'm unsure if I'm still missing out on something before leaving for Marine Corps boot camp. Physically fit, mentally tough, and then all the extras, drill. Marine Corps knowledge, customs, courtesies, history, and tradition. The more you know before you go, the better. But physically fit and mentally tough, the top two in my book. Anyone else? Do you get cars for every engagement, or is it one per conflict? Asks Menachem. So in Iraq, for instance, we're in many firefights, but you only get one combat action ribbon per conflict. So even people that went back to Iraq multiple times, back to Afghanistan multiple times, you get one per conflict. Good question, though. That's what Marines were always wanting more, just because we keep it pretty slick. Zing Ping Poo, good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Kimmy Cocoa Puff says, not Carrie Ann, Carrie Marie. Oh, come on, son. Dang it. Carrie Marie. Do I keep saying Carrie Ann? I'm sorry, Carrie Marie. Hey, don't make me laugh every time he says Carrie Ann. Carrie Marie. Can it be Carrie Marie Ann? Carrie Ann. Carrie Marie. Potts. How about I just call you Potts? Sorry, Carrie Ann. I mean, Carrie Marie. Becca Rock says, my uncle is a Marine and was in Desert Storm. They stuck him in the soccer stadium where he lived better than the Air Force. Went through the soccer stadium a few times. Actually, I think we even played a couple flag football games while we chilled in the soccer stadium. It was definitely a safe place to be. We didn't stay there very long. What do you think about the Kandahar Giant? I don't know who that is. Zing Ping. POW medal is the one nobody wants. Amen to that, guns. No way. Any Marine that used the E-tool in hand-to-hand has my ultimate respect. I'm with you, Jared. And I'll tell you a story from a guy who used to go to the December 7th ceremony in Hawaii. He used to help an old sergeant major buddy of mine. He would run, it was small. It was at a golf course, but it was in Eva Field in Eva Beach, where they did the first bombing of when they started Pearl Harbor. World War II, the Japanese bombed Eva Field first. A lot of people don't know that. And then just east of there was Pearl Harbor. So they prepped and they bombed Eva Field because they had about 30 or 40 planes. So they knew what they were doing. They bombed those so they couldn't come and help out Pearl Harbor. So the Japanese bombed Eva Field first. And I remember a guy telling us a story. He was old, like almost 100 by then, and he would come out to the December 7th ceremony every time. Told a story, and it took him a while to get up to the podium, and it was a small crowd. I'm talking 30 people at the Marines I brought made it 30 people to observe this commemoration. The big ones were going at Pearl Harbor, but the sergeant major used to run this one at Eva Field. Anyhow, this old gentleman told a story that it was a Sunday morning. Everyone was on liberty. Well, he was on post, but he was, and it was funny how he told it. Not funny overall, but the way he told it was extremely funny, because he was on post doing it, walking his post from flank to flank, taking no crap from any rank. But he did have to make a head call, a number 2 head call. So he pulls off into the bushes, sets his rifle up against a tree, and uses his E-tool as a seat to drop trow. Well, as the bombings were coming, some of the Japanese were hitting the ground, and there was enemy out there. And he literally got caught with his pants down and used his E-tool to finish someone off. So I'm with you. Somebody that has used that to fight an E-tool has my ultimate respect as well. This guy got caught with his pants down. All right, Mike Smith, I joined the Marine Corps in 1975 also. Wow, you guys are old. Just kidding. Just Dubs asks, what's the difference between the Army and the Marines? Good question, legitimate. If you don't know, if you know, you know. which most of us here know. The difference between the Army and the Marines. The Army has about 600,000, and I'm guessing, don't quote me on these numbers. The Marines have about 200,000. So Army is quantity, right? They get as many as in, and then they start weeding them out, and they find their soldiers, their badass soldiers, and they definitely have some awesome soldiers. But they are more, and everyone serves a purpose. Air Force and the Navy take us to the fight. The Army and the Marines fight. But the Marines are expeditionary. Can't say that enough. The Marines are expeditionary. We're small. We do more with less. We have less equipment. We carry less loads. We have less crap on our uniforms. But we go in, we fight, we clear the city, clear the town, clear the country, whatever we're doing. And then the Army comes in and sets up base camps and secures it. So not taking anything away from the Army whatsoever, because they do the same. They go in and fight and they clear out cities and towns, but the Marines can be ready on the dime. And if they say we have a conflict over here in this country that you've never heard of, the Marines will be there in 24 hours. Clearing streets, clearing whatever the city happens to be made of. The Army is coming, and they're following up, and they're going to build the base camps and the chow halls and the barracks and the sleeping quarters and everything you need to sustain that country and continue to fight and take more ground, take more ground, take more ground in every single direction. Marines go in there, fight, come back out, and wait for another skirmish somewhere else. Expeditionary, first to fight. Don't beat me up, Army guys. That's just the nature of our mission. Air Force bombs the crap out of them. Navy bombs the crap out of them from the ocean. They're big, huge ships. They take us to and from the fight. One team. Everyone needs each other. Does that answer your question? The Marines are the president's own OG street racer. Red Pill Sleeper Cell says, I knew a wireman who was in 8 years as a corporal and got out when he graduated DI school. Corporal, and he got sergeant when he graduated DI school. So that was back in the day. 8 years to get sergeant. That was pretty normal. It was good. First to fight. That's an Army song? Ain't no Army song, first to fight. Do they say that in their fight or in their song? It's the Marines. First to fight for right and freedom and to keep our country clean. That's the Marines hymn, Menachem. Hello. Old wire dogs. You can talk about calm, but you can't talk without them. Kiev says, have you ever got deployed in Afghanistan? 2 times in Afghanistan. With the same battalion, 2 different AOs, kind of the same, kind of overlapping. 3rd Marines had the Karma, the Geronimo area, Jaker. The 3rd Marines from Hawaii had the same kind of a big AO, and each battalion just replaced each other for a while. For a couple of years, we did that. And it was good to replace or be replaced by a sister battalion. It was pretty awesome. 420 Network Bob says, first to be fed well. Amen. And God bless the Marine Corps cooks. The Army song has first to fight too. Army, trying to copy us. Don't they? I know the Army song. It's pretty fun to sing. Pretty chipper and sing a few verses for us. Menachem. Frank Vasquez, first time here at the channel. Hello. Would you mind scrolling up and taking a look at my question, Sergeant Major? I can't scroll up from where I'm at, Frank, but if you put that question on again, I will keep an eye out for it this time. I promise. Frank, I'm glad you're here, brother. Double tap the screen, subscribe, and hang out with us. Ask your question again. What do you do in Afghanistan? Well, you fight, Russell. What do you think you do in Afghanistan? You survive. All right. Depends on what your job is. It's the infantry battalion twice, so we patrol the streets, try to clean them up of the bad guys. Det Poolee Freitas asks, why is it important for me to learn about other branches and their ranks if I'm only enlisting in the Marine Corps? Great question, Poolee Freitas. You need to know, and that's just learn the Marine Corps first, of course, so you can recognize who you're talking to, who you're working for, and where you're going to get promoted to. but it's definitely a good idea to learn all the ranks for the same reasons. We do a lot of joint exercises, joint training, and joint fighting. So you need to know the proper rank structure to render appropriate greetings, orders, know what to say, sir or ma'am, and or yes, staff sergeant, no tech sergeant, command sergeant major. Very important. It is. Learn the Marine Corps first, 100%. All right, there's Frank. I first encountered Marines face-to-face in senior high school. I was wondering if you think the recruiters knew who were going to be Marines and who weren't. At a glance, of course. I think so, Frank. That's a very good question. Can you tell right off the bat, who has what it takes and who doesn't? I want to believe recruiters are kind of probably trained that way and they discuss it. And especially after they've been on the street for a while and they're recruiting young men and women, they can tell probably within the first couple minutes, this guy's got it or he just doesn't. I'll keep working it because you never know. So, but I think that's a very good question. And I think recruiters probably do have that skill. That do I spend a couple hours trying to convince this young lady, or is it a lost cause? Because their time is valuable and recruiters have mission to make. They got to get the numbers. So I think so. I want to say yes. Any recruiters out there? Do you have that? Is it the first glance, or do you have to discuss with them for a little while? I want to think I probably could. You know what's even better, and along the same lines, Frank, is pretty sure I can spot a Marine in a crowd, a man or woman that's already a Marine and everyone's in civilian clothes, especially if you know you're all service members and you're at a working party or doing a beach cleanup or you're doing something where you're just interacting and talking to them. You can tell right away which ones are the Marines and which ones aren't. First to fight and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. All right, thanks, Menachem. And the Army goes rolling along. It's a fun song to sing. I want to guess. Thanks, Menachem. We fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. That's the Marine song. We fight for right and freedom. Keep our honor clean. We're proud to claim the title of United States Marine. All right. How about the end? Here's health to you and to our Corps, which we are proud to serve. In many a strife we fought for life, but never lost our nerve. If the Army and the Navy could look upon heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by United States Marines. Era. If you want to take the easy way out, join one of the other branches, but no one prepares for the combat better than the Marine Corps, says David Bryant. Era. I'm with you. Why didn't you join as an officer? No hard feelings. Kiev asked that. Good question. We do talk about that quite a bit. Why didn't I go the officer route? And I've told the story many times. I've had people throughout my career, you need to be an officer. Try warrant officer. Go for it. I enjoyed being a Marine way too much. I loved everything about being an enlisted Marine. There was too many things I wanted to do as an enlisted Marine that you can't do as an officer, and that's be a first sergeant, sergeant major. Became my goal early on. Wanted to be a drill instructor, which officers are on DI duty, but they're not drill instructors. I wanted to be an instructor at the Staff NCO Academy, which officers are not nowhere in the academy. So there's just way too many things I wanted to do as a Marine and did not want to do as a Marine officer. But that's it. I ended up getting my degree later on. I could have any time throughout my career. Didn't want to be stuck in one MOS, right? If in my field as an engineer, the officers became drafting and surveyors and were engineer officers. Never was an interest in mine whatsoever. I didn't want to be tied down to one job, one MOS. And again, too many other things I wanted to do as a Marine. Enemy says, today is the Air Force birthday. Well, happy birthday, Air Force. Aim high. How old are they? I'm guessing about 65. How old is the Air Force? 70? I don't know. It seems like I've been saying like 50 something for a long time now. Who knows how old the Air Force is today? Somebody corrected us. They're the chair force, but they also have footstools. What did he say? I don't remember. Russell says, how much does it pay? I missed it. Awesome, but nothing worse than a butter bar trying to make a name for himself. David Bryan, we had some of those butter bars who just couldn't get it. Auxiliary Wives member missed it. John McJunkin. Frank says, thank you for answering my question. I have another. What is the highest Hollywood portrayal of the Marines? Full Metal Jacket, maybe Mars Attacks. Mars as in Marines. Oh, that was a joke. Full Metal Jacket was very accurate. We talk about Marine Corps movies here a little bit. Full Metal Jacket, the boot camp scene was very, very, very real. R. Lee Ermey played a great part in that. He ad-libbed a lot of it because he was a drill instructor. So that was very accurate. A lot of stuff you didn't see, and those of you who went to boot camp, you know the stuff behind the scenes stuff you don't see. There wasn't just one or two drill instructors. You normally have 3 or 4 doing what Gunny Hartman was doing, and it was way more intense. But a good replica of what boot camp was like. I like A Few Good Men is a good, accurate depiction of the brotherhood of the Marine Corps and what Marines do for each other, how they feel about each other, and I got your 6, what that really means. You see that in A Few Good Men. Even after, the whole, they didn't get charged with murder, but following orders, discipline, instant willing obedience to orders, all that stuff plays out in A Few Good Men. All right, Mrs. Zarikos said, thank you, Sergeant Major, and your wife and your family, all you do for a military community, both retirees and those still serving. Well, God bless you, ma'am. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we do it for people just like you and your families and the soon-to-be Marines, soon-to-be service members, and the ones who have served. So God bless you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Jared says, they didn't beat us half to death in boot camp, but they did, in fact, manhandle us. 100%, Jared. Again, I agree. And did recruits get beat? Did they get hit? It happens. It happened. And we see it. And somebody mentioned the DI, Jack Webb, old school. So there, you definitely get manhandled. It's not a. There were definitely times where recruits probably did get beat. No training value whatsoever. And they try to clean it up as much as they possibly can, but it's definitely not for the weak or weary. It is definitely you get manhandled. The women get woman-handled. Is that a thing? But it's tough and it's intense, and you have to have not only thick skin, you got to be mentally tough. So it is. You're right. Nicholas Saronis. I'm a corporal now, and I missed the rest of it, brother. Backbone of the Corps, corporals. It's when you start making decisions when it gets hard. Era. I like that. I agree with a certain level of manhandling. They're making Marines for Pete's sake. I'm telling you. Adam E. says, Nicholas, there's a lot that goes into it, but you determine that. You think now you need to re-enlist to get sergeant. I missed the first part of that. Missed boot camp. Wish I could do it all over again, says Chris Castillo. I did a short about that. Would you do it again if you could? Interesting. Menachem says, why are DIs called sir and not drill instructor or drill sergeant like the Army? I thank God every day we're not called drill sergeant, but it is drill instructor. This, again, different in services. And they do call them sir. If you talk about them, you say drill instructor, sergeant, so-and-so. This recruit requests permission to speak to drill instructor, Sergeant Cece. So they do call him drill instructor as well. But everyday conversation, yes, sir, no, sir, aye, sir. Until after the crucible is when they call them by their rank and name. Sergeant Cece, Staff Sergeant Jones. And that's getting them ready for the fleet. But who knows the history of drill sergeant and drill instructor? I don't know. It's interesting. Do they still have 5 minutes in the broom closet? I don't think so, David Bryant. And if they did, don't say it on here. Somebody might be listening. There are, and again, I was a recruit way back. I was a drill instructor for a while. I never beat the crap out of anybody, especially for no reason. There are times you do have to manhandle them and move them quickly or abruptly, or you're breaking up a fight, or so they get a little excited on pugil sticks or boxing. So there's definitely there's some to it, but not just beating the crap out of somebody for no reason. Another thing that sets us apart: Marines have boot camp, and DIs, all of the branches have basic and drill sergeants. So it is a little bit. Basic training is different. I'm glad we call it boot camp because it is different. Calling a drill instructor sir helps instill some discipline into those nasty recruits, says Salty Saxy. I agree. The funniest part is, especially, well, now that San Diego's mixed, so there's female drill instructors down there. And you always get that kid, yes sir, no sir. They read into their head, yes sir, no sir. And then they come across a female or a female Marine, or like in a chow hall or something, and the recruit says, yes sir, to a female. And the response is always, do I look like a man to you? And the recruit, scared out of his mind, always says, yes sir. I mean, no ma'am. It's pretty funny. Some moments like that you want to take back. But pretty funny. It does instill discipline. I agree with that. Matthew Eberhardt, did you do time at the swim tank? Another great question. So while I was a first class in boot camp, and I'm a swimmer, grew up in the water. So throughout before I became a drill instructor, I did become a WSQ at the time, and I don't know the different ones now. Right, USMC Cece knows what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, you don't look like a male. So I was a WSQ when I went to DI school. And DI school is always looking for swimmers to fill the swim tank quota. That quota is a year. It was, at least back then. And as much as I love the water, love the pool, I went to San Diego to be a drill instructor, not a swim instructor. But they did tag me at DI school. Oh, he's a swimmer. Put a couple of us to the side. See if you can train them to McQuist to be a swim instructor at boot camp. And I went with two buddies. And of the three of us, one of them wanted to work at the pool. I didn't. I wanted to be a drill instructor. So as we're going through, all three of us, one dropped out a couple of days into it, couldn't hang. So it was just me and another guy. And he happened to be dark green. He was a black Marine. They really wanted him to become an instructor to get rid of that stereotype that black kids can't swim, and give them the confidence to go for it. So anyhow, long story short, we started with like 65 students who graduated, like 12. But him and I we both passed. And he wanted to be an instructor down there, and I didn't. So I didn't fill that quota. I was able to be a drill instructor the whole time. And he did very well, extremely well. He stayed, I think they kept him down there for 2 years because he liked it so much. But I would have loved to later on, just not as a drill instructor. In the fleet, of course, being a McQuist, I got to certify a bunch of people in the pool. It was cool. All right, here we go. Young Marine question. Cadet Bevin asks, our group will be volunteering at the Veterans. Man, I missed it. Send it again, brother. Becca says, I was in the Navy and never considered becoming a swim instructor. I grew up on the beach, so I think I would have enjoyed it. I do too, especially in the Navy. Their swim qual, I think, is probably a little different than ours. Just like the dunk tank we talked about. I talked about in my short. The dunk tank was a whole lot of fun. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It's a helicopter. It's a mock helicopter on this big contraption. They dump you in and they flip you upside down, and you have to take off the seatbelt. You got to find your weapon. You got to feel and push the window out, and it's a whole process that you go to. And people would freak out. As soon as they hit the water, then they start turning you over and you can't move till they give you the signal. And then again, holding your breath, watching the bubbles, which way is up because they turn you over. Pretty exciting. And then they put like 6 people in there, and now it's crowded. Now you're waiting. That side goes first. This guy, you're running out of air, and people start to spaz. The best was, though, when they put the blackout goggles on to simulate nighttime. That's when stuff gets real. Then they had the regular vehicles, again, the Humvees and the MRAPs and the boom, in the water, upside down, which happened quite a bit in Afghanistan. So good thing that training is there. So it helped, but it was a lot of fun. I always like doing that. And I did it one time with was it the Air Force? I went to, maybe it was the Navy, when I went to get my jump wings. Not my jump wings, my aircrew wings. I had to go through the Air Force's version of the dunk tank. That was a little different. As they lowered us, they let us take off our seatbelts. And then while we were flipping, they kind of let us, wasn't as intense. Marines drop you in, boom, it's an explosion, flips over. All right, he has volunteering at a retired veterans home. Do actual Marines volunteer their time when they're off duty? 100% young Marine, Bebin. Absolutely, and Marines get credit for that, for volunteering their time. A lot of times as a young Marine, I remember we used to go to a homeless shelter and hand out food. We volunteered for Special Olympics. I used to volunteer at the Red Cross. Just anything to get volunteer credit hours, and it helps towards promotion. But 100%, when we were in San Diego, Camp Pendleton, no, this wasn't volunteer, but we used to work at the football games. We actually got paid for that, so that wasn't volunteer service, but they do a whole lot, 100%. Great question. Frank says, did anyone influence your decision to join the Corps? I knew a group of guys. I didn't see the rest of it, Frank, but did anyone influence my choice to, yes, my recruiter? 99%. And what the only other person that did was a buddy of mine. We were just classmates. He joined. He joined way before I did. Kind of talked me into it. But I was already sold. I was already brainwashed. Yes, I'll say it. My recruiter got me. He was good. Sergeant McBain. Gimme Cocoa Puffs. Carl, what happened? Good to see you, Carl. Carl's here. YouTube's messed up. Carl, you didn't get the notification? We'll fix that, brother. I got your back. Either way, glad you're here. We're an hour in. Mark your calendar, or set your watch. We're 1 hour in right now. Good to see you. Owen says, I got my aircrew wings as a PFC in 1978. UH-1 Echo, UH-1 November, crew chief. Awesome. I would have loved to have been a helicopter crew chief. Mine was a loadmaster. I was a sergeant major at the time, and not as exciting anything what you went through as a crew chief in one of the helicopters. That's pretty awesome. Door gunner, right? Just loved the helicopter. Still do. 46s and 53s. Love everything about it. Have I been in a UH-1? That's the command helicopter, right? The UH-1. That's the command that the battalion commander rides in, right? And I have been in those. But the 46 and 53, love them. Menachem says, what does YUT mean? It's another version of URAH. YUT. Everyone has their own little different version. I just can never bring myself to say URAH. As cool as it is, and it's our motto, URAH. Never URAH. Frank says, just asking because all the gamer guys in my high school fought in Afghanistan. Last time I saw one of them was at a funeral. I was embarrassed to cry in front of those Marines. Let it out, brother. Let real men cry. If that's how you're feeling, go for it. That's on you, Frank. All the gamer guys in my high school fought in Afghanistan. Saw one of them was at a funeral. That's on you, brother. Nope. Real men cry. Real men ask for help. Real men pray. Real men talk to God. Man up. URAH sounds cooler. URAH's pretty cool, but URAH is the best, Menachem. Come on. What's your favorite Gunnery Sergeant Hartman insult? A good one, Ryan. He's got a bunch of funny one-liners. I don't know. I like that some of the names he calls them. I like his in the barracks, this is my rifle, this is my gun. Like the end, although I didn't, of course, didn't like seeing Private Powell kill himself, but just how he reacted to that. Why is somebody not stomping Private Powell's brains in right now when the rifle? I don't know. I loved it. I love that part just like any other Marine that's been through boot camp. Jared, I try not to cuss also, but sometimes people just, what is your major malfunction, Pyle? That's always a good one. How about this one? A jelly donut. When you found that jelly donut. Oh yeah, Big O. A couple of us use that one quite a bit. In the Marines, how about when they're on the rifle range? Where did he learn to fire like that? In the Marines. Right there, look at the producer, Frank. No shame in being real, brother. One jelly donut coming up. There you go, John. Poolee Zanuck asks, took my ASVAB and test, got an overall 97. Wow. My recruiter says it's good, but is it good enough to be an electronic technician in the Marine Air Wing? 100%. 80s is good. I think you can probably do any job you want with the 97. Awesome. Good job. Good on you. Choose wisely. I think a lot more open up, like 70. I think more MOSs open up. So 100%. And don't quote me, and maybe there's a recruiter on here, but that is a very high score, brother. Nice job. Or sister. Randall Knapp. I like you. You can come over to my house. And yes, Randall, that's a funny one also. Thank you for keeping it clean on here. Yes. Did you hear about the 3rd Recruit Training Battalion Sergeant Major was fired? That's one of our topics. Sergeant Major Trevino. A lot of people texting me, did you know him? Did you know him? I didn't. I don't. And it says the catch-all phrase, relieve the cause. So again, amongst the sergeant major community, we're all trying to guess. And usually it's about money, about women, or those are really the main two. Some kind of, they're bucking the system a little bit, their government credit card, or some kind of trouble with a female when it's a male. So who knows, it'll all come out. This one was different because he wasn't just relieved for cause, he was pending trial on pre-trial confinement. That's why I think it has to do with either abuse or some big time money. And I don't know if it has anything to do with being at the recruit training regiment, the RTR, if that's why he was in pre-trial confinement. I think it might have been some kind of violence, like some kind of fight. Or a large sum of money. Why would he be on pretrial confinement unless they had to separate him from someone or something? Interesting. And we're all waiting for the stories to come out. And it will eventually, but that's the first thing they do. He was like the one of 7 senior leaders to be relieved for cause recently, like 4 or 5 Army sergeants major. And he was the first Marine in a while, though. But it makes you wonder, what did he do or what he's allegedly accused of doing? So looking forward to see the rest of the story on that. Don't know. Sergeant Major, I taught the Poolee everything he knows, yet he still got a 97. Good on you, Mac. Dirty laundry's going to come out, Bob. You know that. Owen, 3-3. Still involved. Check out Marine Corps League, Dayton. Captain Tiger Mayberry, Detachment 658. Marine Corps League, how's it going over there in Detachment 658? Been a part of a couple of different Marine Corps leagues. Good. We need to fire them up, inspire them somehow, some way, some other than car washes and bake sales. Somehow to get money in there and get them going. David Bryant, sounds like he's Fort Leavenworth bound. I'm telling you, this one is a little different. Jared says, I find this sudden influx of military guys being relieved of duty a bit suspicious. Thought about that too. A couple commanders, but a lot of senior enlisted leaders. Very interesting. Jared, I'm with you. Not a conspiracy theorist guy, but it sure does seem interesting. Were they all good guys? And maybe they knew too much or they were too aggressive? That happens too. Interesting. Frank says, Sergeant, do you think Marines are hesitant to make friends who aren't Marines? Good question, Frank. Are Marines hesitant to make friends with people who are not Marines? I don't think so. I want to believe maybe it's I'm older and more mature now, and again, I like all the branches of service, like everybody. As a young Marine, are you loyal to your own kind, your own pack, your own wolf pack? Sure. But I don't think any of us are hesitant. I think Marines are just 100% confident and they can make friends with anybody. But there's definitely a different feeling amongst fellow Marines. Good question. The Flirter, Semper Fi, my friend. Got a question. How common are military Masonic lodges these days? No idea. I was never a Mason, Ryan. I knew some. I never got invited. So I'm not sure why, but I think it's probably still common. I'm not sure. Pray for him, says David Bryant. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. When I get old, I'll befriend anyone, but I won't show just anyone my bunker. Amen, Jared. Right? I like that. Any advice transferring from the Navy to Marines? Marcus. All right. Jenkins, is that what you're doing? Any advice transferring from the Navy to Marines? It's going to be still another culture shock. You'll know more than your average civilian because you've been in the Navy. So a lot of the drill, the terminology, Navy's not as fanatical as Marines about being Marines. So it will be different, a whole lot different. The discipline is different and the intensity is a whole lot different. But you're ahead of the game. Having served any branch of service, you still got to go through boot camp. Remember, we know that. If Marines transfer to another branch, you don't go through basic training. You start, sometimes I think they drop you one rank. If you go from the Marines to the Army and you're a sergeant in the Marines, you might go be a corporal, probably not for very long. You get promoted quickly. But if any other branch of service, you can do 20 years in the Army and you want to be a Marine, you go to boot camp. That should be your first indication on what the difference is between Marines and any other branch of service. Frank says, made friends with guys from the 82nd Air Force, 82nd and Air Force. Taught them to be better shot with their sidearms. There you go. My MOS is first Civ Div. I was a combat engineer, the Fluter. Then I became a 89.99. It used to be 99.99. They changed that for some odd reason. In shape, ready to go, says Marcus. Go for it, brother. You ready? You're ahead of the game. Doc says, next guest should be Proud Marine CT Fletcher. Who's that? CT Fletcher. Difference between the Marines and other branch of service. I didn't even know that they had another branch of service besides the United States Marine Corps era. The Palace Guards. One team, one fight. It'll be easier for you because of your experience. Ready to get after it, Marcus. Go for it, brother. Have you ever met a Marine who received the Medal of Honor? What are they like? Yes, I have, Frank. Met a couple. The most recent one, Cannell, Sergeant Major Cannell, met him. he received his, it was for actions in Vietnam when he was a gunner sergeant, but he received it later on as a sergeant major decades later. He was an awesome Marine, Sergeant Major. I had the honor of sitting on a leadership panel with him. I was pretty humbled to be sitting next to him. Medal of Honor recipient from Vietnam. And I was sitting on a panel with him, a retired colonel, I think a current active duty Sergeant Major. I was retired already. Very, very humbled. And I learned, I just loved listening to him, his leadership abilities, and come to find out he was one of those, while action was going all around him, he was walking and just didn't get shot for whatever reason, and barking out orders, and still returning fire, killing a couple guys, and just an amazing story of the ultimate amount of courage that just listening to a story, I wanted to duck. So that was great. Interesting take on the senior enlisted advisor and the commander relationship that he had in Vietnam. Not much different than it is today. So just candidly, just to hear that from Vietnam to today, that relationship is still there, and it's still highly important, and it definitely contributes to mission success. So my push again to have that in the civilian sector, it should be the same. Combat leadership translates into civilian leadership. And that's it. You have to have the right senior enlisted advisor to that commander. Commanders can get crazy, and vice versa. But if you have that relationship, mission success. Awesome. Oprah, Chesty, Polar. URAH, Chesty, Polar, wherever you are. Yes. Maylee, thank you for your service, for anyone who served. Thank you, Maylee. Appreciate that. We all appreciate that very, very much. Donald says, Doc, are you Italian? Yes. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I'm out. Devil Dogs. Keep in shape, brothers. This country might need us. Best believe I'm ready. URAH. Chris Castillo, thanks for joining us, brother. Remember, double tap, like, and subscribe. Manaka says, what do you think about the whole exploding paper business? Crazy stuff, no? I don't know about the exploding paper business. David Bryant. Well, in Okinawa, I was with Base Range 1371 attached to EOD Camp Hansen. Love some EOD boys. If you ever see an EOD guy running, you better follow him. John McJunkin, much respect to all of our Medal of Honor recipients, both past and present. They are the finest of the finest, yet are extremely humble. Yeah, without a doubt. Paper, Menachem. Semper Fi Brothers, OG. Thanks for stopping by, brother. OG Street Racer. I know you already liked and you subscribed. Good seeing you, always. Frank said, I had a dream I was surrounded by a bunch of invisible-faced Marines. What was your craziest Marine type of dream? Maybe another one, Frank. But in my dreams, I never got shot. I always lived to them. And some crazy experiences. I was helping Jared, but I think Carol was killing it. Pager, exploding pager, Menachem. I got you. Yes, I just heard about that. Funny. Somebody mentioned that today, where the Israelis, Hamas was asking for pagers, and the Israelis, and correct me if I'm wrong, and they're purchasing them from the Israelis. So the Israelis made a whole bunch of pagers to send to them because cell phones are tracked. Pagers are not easily trackable. So that's the Hamas thought they were getting one over. We'll use pagers instead of cell phones. So the Israelis made all these pagers into IEDs. They were exploding. So they delivered a big batch of them to somebody. Again, help me with the story. Delivered them to Hamas. They all exploded. Genius. I was wondering if you ever had a dream where you were back in boot camp or before you became a Marine. I don't remember, Frank. Again, as time goes on, as I, in my experience stage, what do they call it when you get older? No more boot camp stories, but I remember as a drill instructor, you're with the recruits 24/7, in and out, constantly, all day, from lights on to lights out, and even an hour before lights and an hour after lights. So you're there for, I'm guessing there's 24 hours in the, at least with the recruits, 18 hours a day. So I do remember getting home finally and laying in bed and having a dream about where the recruits, what's the count, where the rifles, and like, holy crap, looking around, no, I'm at home. Everything's good. The other drill instructors got the recruits. So I definitely had those while I was in recruit training, while I was a drill instructor. Those are pretty intense. But all my combat dreams for a long time were just me getting some, like you see in those movies, like Sergeant Major Canley walking through a battlefield and not getting shot. Gunny Grainer, what's up, guys? Good evening to you. I'm going to be removing Lance Corporal McFlab here later on to run a 5-miler with or without his jelly donuts. Take him on that run, guns. Lance Corporal McFlab, get him in shape. Stay away from the jelly donuts. Ogford P. Doggy, that's a question that you don't ask people. Veterans, you don't. If they want to talk about it, you allow them the opportunity to talk about it, but you don't ask that. Carrie Marie Ann. Carrie Marie. Back, had to go make a cup of tea. I'm glad you're back. Not happening to either of you. Yeah, thanks, Jared. Do you have a favorite recruit you still remember? A couple. That's a good question, Frank. A couple I remember for good and for bad. One, I had that one kid that always had snot running from his nose. Always. He'd get out of the shower, snot running from his nose. And I won't say his name, but I definitely remember it. His stuff was always falling off his uniform on hikes. His pack was always messy. He was just that one recruit who just could not get it together. Scored a low third-class PFT. He met all the requirements. He became a Marine, but always last and slow and barely passed the exams. And the snot is what I remember the most. 100% of the time, snot running out of his nose. I'd make him wipe it. More snot would come. Go take a shower. Snot would come. Hygiene inspection. Snot. 100% of the time. Family day. Parents are walking around. And they're looking for their kid. And he was looking around looking for his mom. I see this older woman. I think it might have been his grandma. Snot coming out of her nose. It was definitely hereditary in this family. Knew right away. Oh, right here. Here's your son. Right here. Ma'am, son, recruit, here's your mom. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Amazing. Another recruit, I don't know how many times I've told this story, but it seems like it's been a while. Shuey was his name. I don't mind saying his name because he was an awesome hard charger, little guy, just a little ball of muscle, intense. But he had a very bad temper, and he would kind of snap on pieces of fight, and always wanted to fight other recruits, and always intense. Wasn't that bright. It kind of had to guide him in a lot of directions. But we were out on the parade deck on a Sunday. I was a senior, and it was one I was trying to get as much drill time in as possible, and it was already getting dark, and you can't be on the parade deck after dark. And we were doing open and close ranks, close and extend online. If you know, you know. And I said, extend, to get them to extend. And he walked forward like open ranks. So I snapped. It just pissed me off. I was trying to get a good one in before we hit the rack, before we got back to the house. I said, extend, march, and he walked forward as in open ranks. So I started dogging him out, chewing him. I said, show me a sidestep. You know how to do a sidestep right now. Sidestep. Boom. And he was doing a sidestep, and he was doing it great. He could drill. I said, I don't blame Shuey. I blame the rest of you. Nobody, you don't take your time on the free time, and nobody teaches him how to, he knows how to do it, but it's not his fault. It's all of you. All right, kind of a mass punishment. I put them all down there, all pushing, and I was yelling at all of them. I was angry with them. If you don't get Shuey in shape, you know, we're going to do this all the time and get it together. Guy and squad leaders, thrash the guy and squad leaders. Got him in school circle, put the guy and squad leaders. It's your fault. Give me 5 new, give me 4 new squad leaders, a new guy. Somebody's got to help me train Shuey. I can't do it by myself. I was gone. It was one of those things that God, sir, just shut the hell up. Let us continue to drill. All of a sudden, the MPs roll up. I was like, crap, it's dark, it's late. I'm the only one on the parade deck, San Diego. I was like, the MPs came here to kick me off or arrest me for being on the parade deck, on the hallowed ground. So the MP pulls up, a couple Lance Corporals get out, like senior drill instructor, you platoon, whatever. I said, yeah. They open the back door, and out comes Shuey. I'm like, Shuey, what the hell are you doing? We're just talking, you were just right here. They're like, drill instructor, we got him on the steps of the theater, if anyone knows San Diego, sidestepping. He was still sidestepping all the way because I told him, show me a sidestep. And then I turned my attention towards the platoon. He was still sidestepping, never stopped. You talk about discipline. Remember Shuey. Had a couple of incidents with Shuey. I'll share more stories later. Some aren't as cool as that one. All right. Michael Jones, RCs and Knives. Visit his page, like and subscribe. You got to run. Good night to you, brother. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you being here. I'm from Indian Army, Sepoy, lowest rank in the Army. Sepoy. Private? You're a private in the Indian Army. Wow, you never stopped Menachem, right? I'm telling you. Instant, willing obedience to orders. I told him to sidestep. He sidestepped. It was my fault. He was down at the theater. Good thing the MPs got him. Sidestep pro. Then come on, Jared. It was a learning lesson for all of us. Mike's Drones. Good evening, brother. Chevrons, you're too much. You too, Mike's Drones. It's a great live, Sergeant Major. You don't miss a question. This is coming from someone who looks at Marines with awe. Thanks, Frank, brother. Appreciate you. And I try. Again, this community is amazing. Still, I did hit my topics. I hit them. Y'all hit them. You helped me hit them. The other one was the biggest fear one. That one kind of took off too. Thank you to the production team. Great live stream. I go to Army basic training in June to begin my military journey. Any tip or advice? I'm excited for it. Thanks. Matthew M. Who up? Get some, brother, no matter what. Again, we're heavy Marine Corps here, but it is one team. And you'll be talking trash to Marines here shortly. You're going to talk about us eating crayons and all that. Embrace that. Embrace whatever branch that you're in, and you better love it, and you better believe that they are the best, because we all know that the Marines are the best. But it's that inner service rivalry that even Marines have, and you're going to have with your other soldiers. But the service rivalry is real. And at the end of the day, when you get a little aged, you'll realize that no matter what, it is one team. And we need each other. Every service has a specific mission, and that's what makes us the greatest fighting force in the world. A little iffy recently, the past 3.5 years, but we're going to get back there to where we were. All right, I don't get the puzzle thing. What's up with that? What are we talking about, Frank? Marines don't need steroids. We chew on nails at steroids. I've always wanted to, and that's got to be the biggest compliment when someone says, you're on steroids. I know you are. I'm not. So it makes me think that, wow, does somebody really think I've done steroids? I must be working hard in the gym. But no, never. I'm always afraid to put anything weird into my body like that. Who knows what could happen? I don't need to grow another ear or something. Salty, I missed what Salty said. Somebody tell me, producer, can you, Salty, put it back up? You shared something good. Menachem, good night, brother. Thank you. Thanks for being here. God bless you. God bless everyone. Stay safe. Be safe. Thanks, Zingping. Be safe, but be aggressive. They say Marines like puzzles particularly. Why is that? Anyone else know? Puzzles. What kind of puzzles? We like crayons. That's the joke. God bless, Menachem. What's the puzzle thing, Frank? Lights out for me, Sergeant Major. Good night, Chesty Puller, wherever you may be. John, good night, brother. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Hope you've double tapped already. Mash the like button. We didn't talk about our products already, but SFMF-merch.myshopify.com. We're not closing out yet, but just I always forget to hit it because we're having such a good time. So much going on. Salty is on top of it with the viewing stats. I can't see ours right now, but I hope it's good. Cadet Strodemeyer, they're jamming. Mac, put it back up. McFluffy, put the cadet's question back up there, please. People are actually hitting that like button. All right, Salty, you guys are on them. Ross R. Major, favorite hardcore cadence. I like Yellow Birdie with the yellow bill, man. That one's my favorite. But C-130 is a classic and an all-time favorite. I like whoever's out there singing it when they got some rhythm. That's what makes it. My favorite, I don't know if I have just one particular favorite. I like new ones when somebody comes out with the new one. Not the ones that are so like hard to follow. Maybe the Marine Corps cadence count. 1, my brother John. 2, went to Vietnam. That one's always good. I like clapping on the left foot. Boom. Catch your breath a little bit. I like all of them. They're all good. Good night, Anderson Ho. Anderson Ho, you just showing up and now you're going to bed? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Despite all the inter-service rivalry, Marines always forgot I was Navy. That's all good, shipmate. Tell you, Navy is our favorite because we are a department of the Navy, the men's department. Stratemeyer asked, Sergeant Major, sir, did you, as a DI or SDI, ever have a sit-down moment with your recruits? Not as a DI, great question. So the DIs, the green belts, don't have those sit-downs to Big Daddy, the recruits, or Big Mama. Is that the correct term for the female Marines? But the senior drill instructor absolutely does, and it's Big Daddy time. The green belts are thrashing the crap out of you 24/7. They don't have that time. But the senior drill instructor does. And it's up to him or her when they do those, what part of training, maybe when the recruits are doing really good, or maybe it's when they're doing really bad and they need to be pumped up. I'm talking about some Big Daddy time where you actually take your cover off, right? I used to have the recruits build me a throne of foot lockers, and you sit down and chill and just talk, man. Those are very important. Talk about being a Marine, about your core values, right? Your leadership traits. You used to teach them man rules, right? How to shake hand. You look a man in the eye, you shake his hand. You always stand up to shake someone's hand. Treating your women right. Try not to swear when you're in public. And the 3 things you don't talk about: sex, politics, and money. Is that the 3? Drugs? Whatever it is, just teaching them some man rules. Respect for yourself. Those parts were truly invaluable, I think, in boot camp. Great question, though. And your senior should definitely be doing it. Frank, I was in a podcast with Dakota Meyer, and they were talking about him getting crayons and doing puzzles. So I thought that was a Marine thing. Puzzles, that's new to me, but definitely crayons. And I spent some time with Dakota Meyer as well. He was good Marine. Roger Hess, thank you for your service. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. David Bryan says, why aren't there officers assigned to security teams in the embassy? Maybe they are now, but not back in the day. I still don't think they are. I think it's all enlisted, right? The det commander is usually a gunny or a master sergeant or something. A couple of things that the officers aren't in. Embassy duty, the Staff NCO Academy, and in DI duty, there's no officers for the longest time until they had that incident, the Ribbon Creek incident. If you know, you know, where those drill instructors marched the cadets through the creek that was swollen and overflowed, and some recruits died. That's when they brought officers in. Yanuel Gonzalez. Any advice on motivation? Yes, you stop by and you hang out and you like and subscribe to the SFMF channel. There's some motivation right there. Any advice on motivation? Because I have had people ask me, where do you get some motivation when you just don't have it? And I always want you got to motivate. You got to be motivated. We're getting a PT, you got to be motivated. We're going on this 30-mile hike, you got to be motivated. But what if you're just not? Where do you get that from? I just tell them, fake it. Fake your motivation. Because sometimes you fake it so much you become motivated. So where do you get it from? I get mine from the gym, right? Any opportunity I get, in the ocean. I got to be in, around, near water, surfing to find my motivation. So everyone has their own, but you got to find it. Lake Cookie says, what year did they bring the core values? I don't remember them. Not when we were in Okinawa, brother. 97-ish. In the 90s, bro, almost 30 years ago, Lake Cookie was when the core values came out. General Mundy, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, he carved them out, is what they say. So he hopefully he obviously got a good working group, probably some senior enlisted advisors, and they came up with the core values. But it was late 90s, and there's actually a core value card. You sign the back of it. It explains each one. I like it. I think they're good. But yeah, late 90s, after your time, brother. Salty, we just got non-rate stickers in. We'll list it soon, and we'll send you one ASAP. You got the sergeant ones, the non-rates? Nice. Fake it till you make it, says Kale. I'm telling you, I think that works more often than not. Mr. Castro got smoked by a green belt while majorly sick. Ended up coughing, puking up grape-sized green chunks, and missed the rest of it. Matthew M. says, thank you for the words on all branches working words, one goal. What is the hardest part of basic? How should I handle the mental challenge? Thank you for your service. Thanks, Matthew. Again, the mental part of it definitely is tough. The very first part is you're going to be homesick like crazy. And I've told it before, my first day, hours into it, I thought I made the biggest mistake of my life. I even told my buddy that I went in with that we weren't even that great of buddies, but he quickly became my best friend. And we were like deciding, how do we get out of here? Man, I made a huge mistake. This is not where I belong. Never been yelled at like that before in my life. And why are the drill instructors so angry at me? I didn't do anything. So that culture shock, along with being homesick, I don't know if it was my first time away from home, definitely for an extended period of time. I didn't travel. I mean, I traveled for away football games and stuff and spent the night once or twice. I had been away, but not something like this. So it was definitely a culture shock. Mentally tough. And what I kept telling myself, after a while, you learn the system and you survive meal to meal. Right after breakfast, you knew you were going to get thrashed for about 4 hours till you had lunch. Thrashed again for another 4 hours till you went to dinner, and then you got to make it through the night. So mentally, you have to find your peace with it. And one thing drill instructors can't do, they can do a lot of things, but they can't stop time. So you're going to graduate. It's pretty crazy, but it is mentally tough. I'm going to try and read all that. Physical test for recruitment. One and yep, missed it. Assume here's a crayon. Yep, I'm a crayon eater. Green, olive drab, the best ones. Poolee, Trunston asked, can I wear my uniform to my high school graduation if I pass boot camp in my junior summer? Well, you have to graduate high school to go to Marine Corps boot camp. You talking about Marine Corps? Army, you can go to boot camp between your junior and senior year and actually become a soldier. Marine Corps, you have to have a high school diploma before you go to boot camp. So you can't pass boot camp before you graduate. Army can though. Army has a program like that. I don't know about the other branches of service. But then Marines do go back and they go to their prom with their high school sweetie in their uniform. It's authorized for wear two occasions like that. Bob says excuses are like elbows because most folks have two at the ready at all times. But excuses are like butt holes. Everyone has one. They all stink. Simplify, Matthew. My father, who was a Marine, gave me a mini boot camp. It helped greatly. Your father's still a Marine. Yeah, if you know Marines, right, have them go put you through a little bit of the stress, but it's still not going to be the same. Again, we talk about it all the time. You can talk about boot camp till you're blue in the face. You can tell a story from every single day of boot camp. But until you step on those yellow footprints and feel that pressure and that intensity, you're not going to know it. Frank says, no. Sergeant Major asked if maybe my new neighbor is a Marine because his license plate is 0311 tip. Yeah, that's only Marines are 0311s. 0311 IP. 0311, he's a Marine infantryman. Give him one next time you see him. Thank you, Madame Producer. Thanks for taking care of John for me. For sure as a Marine, Frank. Opinions are like that, not excuses. Oh, opinions. Opinions. Got it. Thank you, Producer. All right. Man, we're killing it. Time certainly does fly. Let me just show all the newcomers here our merchandise. Real quick. I'll go through it quick. I know a lot of you have seen them all already, but they're still ordering. And the producer just talked about a brand new one, and that's the Sergeant or SART. You saw it on my cup. That one is going to be made as a non-rate. So you don't have to be a SART to get it. Somebody commented again. I saw another comment about SART. What's a SART? Pronounce the whole word. I did. SART. One of the newer ones. This one's a classic. Boom. Kind of in your face. I like that one. This dude's pretty awesome too. Is it too blurry? Do I need to back up? Frank said, Jesus, who put two holes in the helmet? The enemy. That's why he's a skeleton. I just can't with the SART. Me either, Jared. It's funny. And I don't entertain. Sometimes I entertain him. But it's just funny. First SART Major. Really? I think he said, like, take the time to pronounce the whole word. If we did that in the English language, you imagine how funny that would sound? Boom. No more military-aged males coming to America illegally. Come on, man. Why? This one's pretty era. Do or die. Era. And the Little Reaper. That dude's cool. You saw my shirt. I got a shirt with it also. And the shiny Little Reaper. Hurrah. I like this one too. This one's just kind of plain and simple. Hurrah. And it's a shiny. Don't forget, look at producer. I remembered to bring my keys. Had this one from Inception. Only Forrest Gump pronounces all the letters. I just felt like running. Come on, really? Who says that besides Forrest Gump? Look at that. 100% American-made, by an American, veteran, Marine, 100% American products, made in America, by an American. Been using this. Again, I probably can tell I kind of move around a lot. I play with this one all day, every day. Big wad of keys on there, like dude from One Day at a Time. And it's great, holding up. Here's a brand new one. Don't forget the Green Monster. You know you loved it. Still got mine from way back. Refer to it every now and then. And of course, we don't sell the cups, but we sell the stickers. You make your own cup. Doc Holliday, you're back. Quick question. Will you be in California the first week of October? I will not, Doc. I don't think so. But I will definitely be sure to let everybody know when I'm moving and shaking. Somebody asked, what state am I in? Yes, state of motivation. One day at a time. Oh my goodness, one day at a time. What was his name? The janitor with all the keys? Man, what was that guy's name? Young Marine Broiler asked, have you ever worked with other Marines from other countries? The ROK Marines, the Republic of Korea Marines. And some hardcore individuals. Those guys are crazy. Learned a lot from them. Highly disciplined, physically fit beyond you could even imagine. There were some awesome Marines. Few times. The British Royal Marines, again, another intense group of instructors, cold weather training, mountain leadership courses. There's always at least one British Royal Marine that worked at Bridgeport with the Marines. Awesome. Don Knotts. What was that guy's name from One Day at a Time? Schneider from One Day at a Time. Becky says, Snyder's making me remember all the time I got yelled at when I first got to 1-4. So much for sailors learning about the Marines. One team, shipmate. I've made plenty of cat videos, but my blue chicken video is fun. If you were to be at boot camp again, what would you do differently, says Frank. Great question. I would have learned more of the custom courtesies, history, and tradition. The rank, those kicked my butt because when you got to learn the ranks, E1 through E9, O1 through O10, you have to be able to recognize them, describe them, 3 rockers up, or 3 strides, 4 rockers. You had to describe all of them to include the officer ranks and the Navy enlisted and officer ranks in boot camp. That really kicked my butt. General orders and stuff, I think my recruiter did kind of tip me off into those, but I would have studied more of the history, customs, and courtesies of being a Marine. That's what I would have done different for boot camp. I was a football player, so I was physically fit. That didn't kick my butt. Drill, the very limited time I spent as a Poolee, I did drill, so I kind of had a head start on both of those. And the mental toughness, again, that was hard, and I don't know how you prepare for that. But I did. I got over it quickly. And other people not taking it well kind of helped me out as well. The kids that were looking at the airplanes taking off and landing and crying, I was like, really? Come on, it's really not that bad. But knowledge, I would have got a little more involved in the knowledge part. Matthew M says, definitely subscribing. Lots of great stories and advice here. Do you live stream often? Great question, Matthew, and this for everybody. Every Thursday, every Wednesday, and every Sunday. I missed last Sunday. Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesday is 1900 Central Time. Sunday is 1800 Central Time. So depending on where you are. Central Time is what we go out. It's kind of in the middle. Get everybody, they can do their own math and figure out what time. Set your notifications. Notifications work, everyone? Can anybody confirm that? Matthew, Wednesday and Sunday night. Thank you, Kimi Cocoa Puffs. One more to the brig. He goes. Which one? Carl Trump 2024 era. He gone. I wouldn't play around with receiving so much. Yeah, I hear you, Bob. That's a good one. Receiving. I don't think I was playing around, but I was so naive. Again, and I told you my story about the, oh no, sir, I brought these shoes because I want to wear them. I didn't understand the pecking order quite yet, and didn't want him to continue to yell at me. Thanks, Jared. Notifications are good. All right. So set the notifications, Matthew. Agent 61. Should I accept to become a corporal next year or not? I'm security guard. Should I accept to be a corporal next year or not? I'm a security guard. I don't know the full question if they're going to promote you to corporal. URAH. British SAS. Carl, that's like the British Royal Marines. So hard to be motivated when you're with base. Totally different from division. Facts, David. It really is. And again, depending on what unit you're with, the mission is different. So it does kind of put a damper on your motivation. But that's where you come in and you change it. Find the motivation. From the producer, the metal flag in the background is from ancmetalworks.com. Look at that, baby. URAH. We got Lake Cookie still here. I know it's past your bedtime. ANC Metalworks, and again, I apologize that light's on it during the day, but right now it's gonna my head's gonna bounce the light off, and it looks terrible, but it's back there. It is awesome. Love the flag in the back. Great question, Doc. So I need to get him a good quality. The producer needs to get ANC Metalworks, Lake Cookie, a good JPEG of our logo, so he can put it on. He's going to make one. He's going to make one for us, and that'll be on the other side. I have to turn my camera so you can see both of them at the same time. I used to laugh when my fight or flight kicked in. My drone instructor ended that. Yeah, fight or flight. Laughing is a technique when it gets that intense, but that never works out very well. So try not to do that. I plan to toss everything I took and wore to boot camp. Lake Cookie's there. See, tell the producer, Lake Cookie, tell her to get you that JPEG so you can start on that SFMF Metalworks. Can't wait. Matthew, see you Sunday, brother. Put your notifications on. Sunday, 1800 on Sunday. An NCO wife, Miss Haberman, asked, Sergeant Major, are you or your wife boomers or Gen Xers? How else would you know Schneider from One Day at a Time? So, been around for a little while. Something my parents used to watch, maybe. Definitely showing our age. Schneider, that was his name. Had that big old key ring, about 100 keys on it. Secret Air Service. Oh, Secret Air Service. Oh, but they're badasses, right? British SAS. I believe they're British Army. How many guns you got, fellow Americans? I told you I got two, my left and my right. And a couple ARs and pistols and shotguns and all the real guns. But you're right. Ram slapped, load up, guns and ammo. You never have enough. 1800 on Sunday. Got it. We'll see you then, Matthew. Hello, good sir. It's my understanding that anyone can visit the White House. I wouldn't visit now, but I don't think there's anyone. Sergeant Major won't divulge his age, but I know he's a tad older than me, and I'm 52. 52? Wow, that's old, Jared. Lake Cookie, right there. Get on it, producer. Been asking for a few weeks now. It's okay to blame the Sergeant Major. She's working on it. She's working on it. British SAS is the British equivalent to, dang it, I missed that. I wasn't reading fast enough. 2 Marines have won the Medal of Honor twice. Why is that? Is the fight harder for the Marines? Great question, Frank. Only two Marines have won the Medal of Honor twice, Dan Daly and Smedley Butler. Why is that? Is the fight harder for the Marines? No one's ever asked it like that. I don't know if it's a yes or no question. Our mission is different. Again, we're the first to fight, so we're the first ones in on the heaviest part of the battle. Why is it that only 2 Marines have won it twice? Well, they're badasses, and they survived the first one. A lot of Marines, a lot of service members receive the Purple Heart or the Medal of Honor posthumously. They've died to earn it. So I don't think the fight is different. I think, again, we go in, first ones to go in. That may be why. Great question, though. I never even thought about that. What is considered a compliment in America but an argument in Afghanistan? You to bomb. No, you to bomb. That's pretty funny. Right. I think you're right. Delta, not Green Berets. Dan Daly should have 3. Damn, Daly should have 3. Yes, the mission is different, so Marines are expected to complete jobs. Jared doing some serious math. Indian Army, Kamua Regiment, Indian Army, war cry. I'd like to hear that. Dan Daly should have 3. I knew what you meant, David. I was messing with you. Dan Daly should have 3. He's a beast. British medical pilot retired. UK medic. All right. Pretty impressive, man. And with that comes Purple Heart. So would it be okay to have my parents and veteran go with me to the recruiter's office to get my MOS guaranteed in writing? Poolee Joyner asks. 100%. Take your family with you, and don't leave until you see it in black and white. Not the recruiters not that they lie to you, but make sure you see it in black and white and get what you're asking for. Because they have quotas. Again, they got to do some. They have to for the needs of the Corps. So if all of a sudden we need a bunch of 0311s and you say you want to drive trucks, well, as an 0311, you'll be able to drive trucks sometimes. It's not like that. Make sure you get exactly what you want to do. But be open-minded also and see the other MOSs that are available to you depending on your ASVAB score. But definitely take a Marine with you. I went with my daughter 100%. I wasn't going to. Not that I didn't want her to get sidetracked, but know what you want before you go in there, or go in there with an open mind. Say, I'm not signing up for anything today. Tell me about some MOSs that I'm qualified for. So definitely bring someone in there with you. Want to build technology for the military, but isn't being applied yet. But I fear my concepts will become an existential threat to our enemies. Any advice? Civilian at the moment. It's not far away from there. Cyber warfare is the big one now, vicious. So that may be something that you can look into, some kind of technology. And they do open that up to Marines all the time. If you have something that will enhance our combat readiness, that the Marine Corps wants those ideas, and they actually pay Marines money if they have a great idea to save the Marine Corps money or something that can improve our combat readiness. Talk to the recruiter. The like button. You can join the U.S. military in another country. You can. I'm not sure who you're talking to on that one. Oh, is there a way to join the U.S. Army from the Middle East? Again, there is. You talk to your recruiter. The way to do everything. He has a great channel at UK Medic. UK Medic. All right, Bob, let's everyone check that out. UK Medic. USA only, says Vicious. How about this, Sergeant Major, says Frank. When I look at the history, it seems that Marines face enemy face on and enter the belly of the beast at the mouth, while other branches follow close behind. Again, that is, Marines are first to fight, and usually get the the Special Forces guys say, well, I'm Special Forces, and we go first. We got there before the Marines. Again, as Special Forces, they absolutely do. But as a branch of the military, the Marines are the first to fight. So we go in the belly. We are the first ones on the ground. We are the first one as a solid unit to fight. So might be also why we have more KIAs. But just for pure numbers, per capita, probably, because we are the first to fight. 5 minutes, Sergeant. You can chew my butt later. Carl, hey, you're still on it. You joined late, but you're on it. First in, last out. Typically, that does happen. Like Desert Storm was the first time it got introduced to me. We were the first ones there. And yes, by the time we left, I'd spent so much time in country with not doing anything because we were just trying to get out. Gippy, thank you for your service. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Someone complimented my shave. Fresh haircut all the time. Once again, Semper Fi, my friends. That was a quick 2 hours. Last one from Cadet Littlefield. My dad is okay with me enlisting into the Corps, but my mom says she will only okay I go in as an officer. After college, what should I do? All right. So that's probably very, very typical, and wish a recruiter was here can answer that for you. Again, one of my daughters is a Marine. I want her to be an officer later, but it's 100% her decision. I've talked many times about why I never became an officer, but that's my own personal feeling. So what I suggest you and your parents do is talk to some Marines, some enlisted Marines, and talk to some officers. What I do highly recommend, if you go enlisted, still get your degree and maybe make that decision later. Once you learn what Marines do and what Marine officers do, you'll have some knowledge, and enlisted Marines make great officers as well. So good on your parents and your mom for having you explore that. I 100% agree with getting your degree. Again, whether it be before, after you enlist, or before you enlist. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But talk to Marine officers, talk to Marine enlisted, and together decide, but it's your career. Of course, you want to make them both happy. Producer says, I'm betting your mom would be so proud when she sees you on that parade deck. Amen. Hurrah. Without a doubt. Google. Salah Sultan. Google. You can Google everything. Lay Cook says, I should have been an officer. You would have made you already made officers' lives hell. But imagine if you were an officer, yes, you'd get them on their toes. Yes, Army supplies everything. To someone who's probably USMC's number one fan, this was awesome. So, thanks, Frank. Appreciate you, brother. And hope to see you on Sunday. There you go, 1-800-Marines, Salah. Yes, Google it. I finished my military service in Egypt, by the way. All right, I'm telling you, 1-800-Marines. Google it, find out. Other countries do. Marines get their citizenship after they join all the time. Vicious, thank you, Sergeant Major. Can always count on your channel and insights to help me better grasp of how to move forward, never change, and thank you deeply for your authenticity, sir. Thank you, Vicious. Appreciate that. Semper Fi, my friend, and the DI yelling at you, get off the parade deck. You remember that story? Tore me up. Become a pilot, says Bob. What time Sunday? What time is it Sunday, everyone? 1800 Central Time. 1800, 1 hour before it was tonight. 1800 Central Time. Wow. Semper Fi to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be aggressive. Stay motivated. God bless you all, one and all, very much. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hurrah.